Kia ora and welcome back. Okay, and you had a fascinating point that you were making.
Yeah, so we said should everyone take moral enhancer drugs? And I pointed out that if we do that and if everyone takes that drug, then it would be so predictable for everyone to what to do. So you can just predict what people are gonna do, how they're gonna decide, or maybe even what are they gonna buy or eat, because there's even moral decisions on that. Maybe everyone would stop eating meat and chicken, but it's more moral to not to eat them, you know?
Yes, so mate, that's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
So there's a philosopher called John Harris, and he has made this objection to moral bioenhancement. He says, well, the thing that's most valuable about us, and he's going to use the F word, freedom, and basically being free is being free to fail. And so it's like, yeah, you might think, wow, the most precious thing about me as a human being is I can freely do the wrong thing. But in a way, that's true. If I was just a robot, I mean, the robot does things right. You don't think, oh, what a wonderful robot.
You don't
do-
question a robot because it does whatever you says. It's like a kid.
So every now and then we mess up, and that maybe is our most important feature as human beings?
Well, it's a bit romantic to say that because when you look at the consequences, we are destroying the world or we are killing other people. But there's also that.
So that's an interesting way to put it, isn't it? I mean, do we look at the terrible things that human beings are doing to each other right now, and do we say, oh, that's terrible, I wish that didn't happen? And if we were robots, there's no way we'd do all that rubbish. But that's the price you pay for having a planet full of humans.
I mean, I intuitively think that there should be a way to be both free and moral.
Yes. But is that a way? Well, is that even possible? So if you don't have the freedom, if I say, Furkan, we've got to pick up litter right now, and if I say, here's a gun, if you don't help me pick up litter, I'm shooting you, then you'll pick up litter.
Yeah, I would.
But if I just say, well, look, it's the morally right thing to do, you say, well, you can just say, I don't feel like doing that. And that's maybe your free choice. And if I was to say to you, it's the right thing to do.
Oh, yeah. Well, then if everyone takes that moral enhancers, then there would be nothing called morality because everyone is going to do the same and there will be no wrongs.
So is this sort of experiment kind of where we may be heading? If in a way, because we think about the idea of these pills, it's kind of like in pill form or maybe something you would inject that would make you more moral. But what about, think of a version of this tech. So, I mean, Elon Musk can't be the most moral person in the universe, but I guess if he can get morality into a Neuralink that he puts in your head, I mean, is that where we're headed?
Maybe we want to head there. We want to be moral. Maybe we want to taking away our freedom to be moral.
So, because right now there are people making free choices, some of them are pretty despicable, and I should be looking and saying, well, look, this human freedom stuff, there's just too much crap that comes with it. So do we need to get rid of democracy and just have everyone following orders? Do we need to get rid of freedom? Have everyone doing what they're programmed to do, as long as it's the right program?
It sounds really terrible in a sense, but also good in other sense.
Yes.
But also, so let's say we're taking this drug enhancers, but whose morality are we going to follow?
Well, that's an interesting thing. So there's a fascinating sort of thought experiment about that sort of what's the right thing to do. And in a way, you think morality is good. What happens if you're in the grip of the wrong moral theory?
And you will have to follow that because you have the drug.
You believe it's right. This is the right thing. And so there's a New Zealand philosopher called Jonathan Bennett who took one of the worst people who's ever existed, a guy, he was the head of the SS in Germany during World War II, Heinrich Himmler, So he was responsible for orchestrating or planning the Holocaust. So a terrible human being. And he looks, apparently there are diaries, and he does these terrible, he believes it's the right thing to do. So he believes in Nazi morality, and he believes these people must be killed, but he finds it horrible to do, or at least he clearly he's kind of slightly suffering at something. You don't feel sorry for him because he's terrible, but if he was to be morally enhanced, I mean, would his version of moral enhancement be one in which he says, well, you know, all of these doubts I have about doing the thing that my moral theory tells me is right, I can do away with them. So that's one thought experiment. But also, I don't know if many of you have heard of a moral theory called utilitarianism. And that's a theory that a lot of people believe in. And that's a theory that tells you to always maximize the good. And it tells you to always maximize the good, even when there's a whole lot of short-term suffering. You've got to kill some people to maximize the good. And so if you look at some of the dilemmas that humanities have been in, they've often been examples of people saying, I have to kill a lot of people, and that's terrible, but I'm going to do it because I know that we're going to get to a better world. Once all these people are dead, the world will be a better place.
Generally, politicians or the financial experts, they look at the generation that are not able to work anymore. They think that, if this population would not be there, we wouldn't have to spend money on them.
Yes.
So we could spend more money on kids.
Yep, we could do, yes. So in a way, there are also, when people make these calculations, I mean, what would it be like for them to be morally balanced? Well, now I don't even question my moral beliefs. So anyway, next time we'll be back to look at something that I personally think is the most fascinating issue, which is if we do change ourselves, morally enhance ourselves, well, we could change ourselves so radically that we turn into something completely different. And then, well, is there any going back from that? So once we make a decision, is that it? We can't even question. There's no such thing as making a mistake. But next time.